especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
Hello and welcome, I'm Suyash Maheshwari and you are watching Last Tick here on News9, where we break down the day's action on the large street. And Indian markets, they have extended their winning run to 2 sessions now, led by strong gains in banking stocks and select heavyweight stocks including Reliance Industries, ITC and ONGC, to name a few. Now the headliners, they opened sharply lower today with a cut of about 160 basis points on Nifty, after the headline inflation in the US for the month of January came in hotter than expected. However, after that initial dip that we saw in the morning trade, the markets went on a recovery mode, and they were seen making higher highs and higher lows throughout the session. And eventually by around 2:20 p.m. we had paired all the losses, and the rally, by the way, did not stop there, and both headliners ultimately settled with moderate gains. Nifty at close, as you can see on your screen, was up 0.45% to close above the 21,800 mark, and this is the first close for Nifty above 21,800 in the last 5 sessions. Sensex has also added by about 280 points, and it also ended above the 71,800 levels. The broader markets, they outperformed headliners today, as both mid-cap and the small-cap indices surged 1 to 1.5% in today's trade. Now the small-cap index was the best performance segment of the market. The index surged by about 1.6%, but could not take out the key psychological level of about 16,000. We came very close to it but could not capture that. Just wanted to put that out there. But mid-caps also rallied over 1%. And they reclaimed the 48,000 mark after a gap of a session. We opened near the 47,000 mark. We took support at that, and from there on we staged a good sharp recovery of about 700 and 800 points on Nifty mid-cap. And I think what makes a further case for a reversal of trend from bearish to bullish is the fact that volatility indicator India VIX has also seen a meaningful decline of about 2%, and it's back below the 16 levels. But moving on to the sectors, it was a banking pack that led today's charge. We have spoken about it many times in the past, how Nifty Bank has been a major laggard on the index, on the headliners, because again it has a weightage of about 30 to 35% on an index, and when Nifty Bank is not performing, it's a big drag on Nifty altogether because of this high weightage. But something different is happening in the last couple of sessions. Nifty Bank has surged by over 1,000 points in the last couple of sessions. In fact, even today we saw a surge of about 400 points, although despite this pullback, despite this surge, let's not call it a pullback because we have taken out certain key resistance levels on the upside, but this much elusive level of 46,000, that has not been able to we have not been able to reclaim that on a closing basis. We did bounce back above that, but could not close above 46,000 on Bank Nifty. Now, among other sectors, auto, media and metals also provided strength to the market. whereas IT and pharma, which were seen as contrarian bets and had been supporting the markets in the past few choppy sessions, they saw some profit booking. They corrected by about 1% each. But with that, let's also bring on board Mr. Akshay Bhagwat of JM Financial. Thank you for joining us here on News9. Akshay, always a pleasure seeing you. Nifty, of course, made a strong recovery in today's session, and this was after a gap down opening of about 160, 165 points. And, we also have closed at the highest levels in the last 5 sessions. Do you think that the ball is back in the court of the bulls?
Good afternoon, Suyash. What a day we had for the markets today, and especially if you look at the way the opening was today, there was fear all over. And what do we have by the closing bells? A very strong recovery. So yes, if you were to look at from the short-term perspective, like 22,000 again looks on, possibly that might happen very fast, because one thing is clear, looking at the past 3 days activity, 21,600 is emerging as a good demand area or a strong support base for the Nifty. On the upside, 21,850 is a resistance. We are almost close near the resistance. If this is sustained or taken out in tomorrow's trade, that's a good indication that short covering may further aggravate and take the Nifty to revisit the all-time high once again. So yes, if you were to look from a broader perspective, we are still in a range. Broadly, 22,150 is the upper end of the range, and the lower end band is 21,300. But from the short term, that's for the next couple of days, there is a good chance Nifty may reattempt to visit the all-time highs very soon.
All right, Nifty could attempt to revisit all-time highs in the next couple of sessions, if it takes out 21,850, that is. But Akshay, moving on to Nifty Bank, the banking pack, of course, it has been a major laggard, but in the last couple of sessions, it has been a main driver of this recovery that we have seen in the indices. And if you look at Nifty Bank alone, that has gained by about 1,000 points since Tuesday, but 46,000, that still remains elusive. And even looking at the price charts today, it seems like there is a formation of a double top, as Thursday's high point was very close to today's high. What's your assessment on Bank Nifty? Are we out of the woods yet?
If you were to look from a short-term perspective, as you rightly said, 46,000 is one important resistance barrier that should be applicable for tomorrow's trade itself. Now, if you analyze the last 5 days of action, 45,000, 46,000, this is the range which Bank Nifty has held on to. Now, a breakout is happening very soon. As I understand, broadly, if you look at the way the last action was, somewhere in the last month, we did see a strong recovery from the 44,500 mark, which went all the way up to 46,700. So my sense is, looking at the way momentum and the demand is again and again entering the banking system, the PSU banks are on a roll. Private banks have also started getting good support in terms of the positive buying traction. The chances I see is that 46,000 should break out very soon, and we should revisit the recent swing highs till 46,800. So I'm optimistic. I hold a positive view on the bank index. 46,800 might be on the cards for the short term in the February series.
All right, positive view on the banking pack, 46,800 on the cards in the short term. But I also wanted to get your view on the broader markets, because since October we have seen that there will be one day where both mid cap and the small cap indices will see a shakeout of about 3 to 4%. It happened again this time on Monday. But the recovery wasn't as swift. Immediately, in the following session, we'd see Nifty mid cap and the small cap indices both recover at least half of what they lost in the previous session. But the recovery is rather slow this time around, although it is still happening. So, do you think that this party, this brilliant party we have seen in the last 1 year for the mid cap and the small cap indices, is it threatened right now, or do you think that there are some more pockets of opportunity and perhaps this rally could continue from here on?
There are pockets of opportunities, but one thing is clear, that if you look at the last few trading sessions, there have been jerks in the market. You cannot ignore that. And when the jerks have come, it has hit very hard. Recently, one good example was how the PSU public sector units got a hit in the last couple of trading sessions. Really 5% taken off in a single day in majority of the government stocks. So yes, you should be prepared to face these risks, because now we are possibly at the fag end of the momentum drive, because the way the charts are giving you, it is highly overbought, but still the bulls are not giving it up. But there are pockets where money is yet to be made, pockets which you can strongly chase, where returns are happening too fast and too soon. So yes, it's bull market is still on. The momentum might be in the final leg, but I still believe that you need to chase this momentum, because there are a lot of gains to be made. As far as the mid cap index goes, as you rightly mentioned, there has been some strong cuts in the last few trading sessions, but mid cap index should again reattempt to get to its lifetime highs in the February series itself.
Akshay, what about the other themes and sectors that have seen this immense momentum? The PSU stocks, as you pointed out, railway stocks, they have also, witnessed heavy selling pressure at the top because of some of the earning disappointments. What's your view there? Should, one use these opportunities of a dip of about 5, 10, 15% to, make fresh bets? Or, do you expect this profit taking to, sustain from here on?
See, the way the recent jerk has been seen in the PSU bank, now one thing is getting pretty clear, that it is now more of a trader's market which we are entering into. So yes, it may be short-lived, it may be for a week or so, but the kind of the bull run which many of us have enjoyed in the last 5-6 months, yes, that has a question mark with the things going ahead from here. So I would say that sector rotation theme will be on. Power is one sector where the money is flowing in right now. PSU banks, yes, obviously you had a good bump up, and the railway stocks which you mentioned might see another round of buying action, because still there is good volatility, there is good demand for those people who had that FOMO rally, fear of missing out rally. They will once again try to get into for the people who have missed out the chance in the last rally. So there will be some bump ups, but now one thing is clear: you need to have your stop losses. You have to have your risk in defined clearly, because it's a trader's market we are entering into right now. Returns will be there, but you should be flexible enough to move out too fast and too soon as the market conditions change.
All right, it's a trader's market. Be very proactive in your trading bets. That's the view from Akshay. But moving on to the stocks, we are in the middle of the earnings season. Mahindra and Mahindra, now they came out with their December quarter print, and they have reported a very healthy set of numbers, beating market expectations across all metrics. Standalone net profit for the quarter, that surged by about 61% year on year to 2,454 crore in the December quarter. Now the street was expecting a surge of about 45% in the bottom line, so big beat over there. However, one must note that that the surge in net profit was driven by other income component, which jumped by about 82% on a year-on-year basis, and includes a gain of about 90 crore on some non-current investments. But revenue also for the quarter under review surged by about 16% to 25,642 crore. Now this was driven by the highest ever SUV sales for the quarter. Now the street was expecting a figure of about 25,400 crore, so a beat on the revenue front as well. EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, was up 9.7% in the December quarter, while EBITDA margin expanded by 80 basis points to 14%. Again, both figures are ahead of what the street was anticipating. The company overall has seen a brilliant quarter. Actually, it stood at number 1 place in the SUV segment in the quarter, with a revenue market share of about 21%. M&M is also on the top of the tractor category. Its market share has improved to about 41.8% in the quarter under review, whereas in the commercial vehicle category, there also its market share has improved to about 49.6% as of the December quarter. And even the stock, the stock was trading under some bit of a pressure ahead of the results, but it managed to end in the green with a gain of about 1%, very close to the day's high. Akshay, I'll come to you on the stock. Good numbers, healthy set of numbers. The tractor segment, that was a pain point for Mahindra. Mahindra also, showed some signs of recovery. Revenue did pick up on a year-on-year basis, but Mahindra has been a relative underperformer when you compare it with Maruti Suzuki and your Tata Motors in the last 6 months. I think it has given returns of about 6%, whereas the other two stocks have surged from 20 to 60%. What's the call on Mahindra and Mahindra? Is the time right to enter this stock?
Results, as you mentioned, have been good. They are in line with the street expectations. Now, the reaction has been positive, but not very exciting enough that you have a blowout price move. So, if you go by the technical charts, as I see, it's the broader chart structure is in a range. The upper end of the band is 1740 and the lower end of the band is around 1580, and the prices have been stuck in this range for the last 2 to 3 months. Right now, as we close today, we are at the midway of this range. So one level which I understand from a trading perspective is 1620. You need to note this level. You need to have this as your stop losses in case you have a long bet placed on the stock, because at this point it is still in the range. I do not see any major move happening in the stock as yet. So keep a stop loss. I would not recommend any fresh trade on this as the chart reads. But in case it recovers from here, then 1720, 1740 should be on as the chart reads.
All right, and Mahindra and Mahindra of course had phenomenal returns, but one particular stock and the company that is not doing too well is Paytm. Now the Enforcement Directorate has started a preliminary inquiry against Paytm for suspected breaches by Paytm Payments Bank. We at News9 were among the first to break the news to you, and it's a developing story. So as of now, we don't know what the scope or the nature of ED's investigation is. But the stock, now that cracked another 10% today to hit a lower circuit. It is currently at a record low and has lost about 65% since RBI's crackdown, wiping out 26,000 crore of investors' wealth in just 10 days. But Akshay, coming to you, what's the doomsday scenario price target for Paytm that you have got? Because the troubles, they keep on mounting for the company. Can we see a double digit on the prices anytime soon?
So yes, actually the way the stock has reacted in the past few trading sessions, it's already been a doomsday scenario for the people who are holding to the stock. So really I would not like to further, get onto their nerves by predicting downside targets. But clearly one thing is sure, that at the point where it trades, it's not giving you an exit. Circuits are the way it is going forward to. New kind of negative news are hitting the stock day on day, and that's not a good scenario you should be in. So yes, clearly it's a stock to get an exit as soon as possible. Till the dust settles down, you really don't know where it is heading for, and one should not at least try to do a bottom fishing kind of a scenario in this environment, because such sometimes mouth-watering levels is what is on offer, and you feel that this might give you a 10% overnight return if suddenly there is some good news in this counter. But don't please fall for such traps, I may say. The way it is heading, the way the news flow is.
ED has started. What sort of a value would you assign to Paytm?
Suyash, honestly, I don't track this stock, so kindly excuse me. I would not be able to give you a view on this.
All right, of course, just to reiterate, the investigation that ED has started, we don't know as of yet what the nature or the scope of this investigation is. We don't have any clarity as to what exactly ED is investigating. In the case of Paytm's Payment Bank, from what we understand, it's on some suspected breaches for the payments bank unit, but we are seeking further clarity, and it's a developing story, so keep a track of that. But moving on, Akshay, Reliance Industries, I wanted to talk to you about that, because it has become the first company to surpass this market cap of 20 lakh crore. It has hit another record high today. What are the price targets for Reliance Industries, and what's driving this stock higher? Because Reliance Industries, for one, has been a constant support for the market since the start of 2024.
Absolutely, Suyash. You're very true on this. That Reliance Industries has been a market mover, supporting the market at every difficult times, I may say, because last 4 months, the way the movement has been from 2,300 to almost nearing the 3,000 level, and still the way the derivatives and the chart reading goes, I'm much optimistic that still it is the momentum is on, and this might still give you a surprise in terms of the price move which yet has to register. So target wise, if you were to look at it, I foresee targets till 3,150 to 3,200 on the upside from a medium term perspective. The support area is 2,800. Definitely this should be one stock which you need to hold if you were to sail through the market in the next couple of months.
All right, that's a word coming in from Akshay Bhagwat. Akshay, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for joining us here on News9. But moving on, as we mentioned, Enforcement Directorate has started a preliminary inquiry against Paytm for suspected breaches by Paytm's Payment Bank. However, ED has not yet filed an enforcement case information report. In the latest development, ED has reportedly sought documents on Paytm from RBI, and a decision on whether an ECIR can be registered will be taken after the scrutiny. My colleague Jitendra Sharma joins us to fill us in on the latest. Jitendra, over to you.
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए ईडी ने अपनी तफ्तीश शुरू कर दी है। फिलहाल ईडी का कहना है कि शुरुआती तफ्तीश है ये, अभी ईसीआईआर कोई दर्ज नहीं की गई है, लेकिन जो ट्रांजैक्शन हुए, जो संदिग्ध ट्रांजैक्शन है जिसके ऊपर पूरा शक है ईडी को, उन तमाम ट्रांजैक्शंस की जो डिटेल है वो इस वक्त ईडी के पास मौजूद है और लगातार ईडी इस बारे में जल्द ही जो पेटीएम के संबंधित अधिकारी हैं उन सभी को बुलाकर उनसे पूछताछ भी कर सकती है। लेकिन अभी फिलहाल जो ईडी के हार्ड डॉक्यूमेंट आए हैं उन डॉक्यूमेंट्स की स्क्रूटनी की जा रही है। जो संदिग्ध जितनी भी ट्रांजैक्शन थी, चाहे वो विदेशों से की गई, चाहे हिंदुस्तान में की गई, साथ ही कुछ ऐसे खाता धारक हैं जिन पता चला है कि एक ही पैन कार्ड के ऊपर तकरीबन 10 से ज्यादा अकाउंट खुले हुए हैं। इसके अलावा कई अकाउंट ऐसे हैं जिनका केवाईसी नहीं किया गया है और साथ ही करोड़ों की उनमें ट्रांजैक्शन हुई है। तो ऐसे जितने भी अकाउंट्स हैं उन सभी अकाउंट्स की स्क्रूटनी की जा रही है और उन सभी के संबंधित ना सिर्फ उन कस्टमर्स को बुलाया जाएगा, उनसे पूछताछ की जाएगी, बल्कि जो पेटीएम के अधिकारी हैं उनको भी बुलाकर जल्द ईडी इस पूरे मामले में पूछताछ कर सकती है। और ये जो पूरी कार्रवाई है, दरअसल ये कार्रवाई फेमा के तहत की जा रही है। जी
ऑल राइट जितेंद्र, पर ये जो कार्रवाई हो रही है पेटीएम के अगेंस्ट, इसका बेसिक क्या कोई फॉल्ट है पेटीएम का, इधर कुछ उन्होंने किया है जिसकी वजह से ये कार्रवाई शुरू हुई है, या फिर ये जस्ट रिकमेंडेशन से आ रही है आरबीआई के?
जी बिल्कुल, देखिए शुरुआती तफ्तीश में ईडी के पास कुछ ऐसी जानकारियां थी। खासतौर पर अगर हम आरोपों की बात करें तो आरोप यह है कि सबसे पहले काफी अकाउंट्स ऐसे हैं जिनकी केवाईसी नहीं हुई है और उनमें लगातार करोड़ों रुपए डाले जा रहे हैं, फिर के ट्रांजैक्शन उनमें हो रहा है। इसके अलावा एक बैंक जो एक पैन कार्ड होता है, उस पैन कार्ड के ऊपर तकरीबन 3 से लेकर 10 तक बैंक अकाउंट खोले गए और वो सारे बैंक अकाउंट पेटीएम के अंदर ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं। इस बारे में लगातार जानकारी लेने की कोशिश की गई पेटीएम से, लेकिन जब पेटीएम ने इस बारे में कोई जानकारी नहीं दी तो मजबूरन आरबीआई को एक्शन लेना पड़ा। अब इस बात की ये जो शिकायतें थी ये ईडी के पास भी शेयर की गई और साथ ही ईडी को ये भी पता चला कि दरअसल विदेशों से भी पेटीएम के जरिए काफी मोटी जो रकम है वो लगातार ट्रांजैक्शन हो रही है कुछ ऐसे संदिग्ध अकाउंट्स के अंदर। तो लिहाजा इस पूरे मामले पर अब फेमा के तहत ईडी ने अपनी तफ्तीश शुरू की है और जल्द ईडी जो सोर्सेज हमारे बता रहे हैं कि जल्द इस मामले में जो ईडी के अधिकारी हैं उनको समन किया जाएगा। उनसे ना सिर्फ इन बैंक के अकाउंटों के बारे में पूछा जा सकता है बल्कि जो विदेशों से मनी ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ है उसके बारे में भी अब ईडी के अधिकारी पेटीएम से जवाब ले सकते हैं। जी
और क्या कोई टाइमलाइन है जब तक ईडी को अपना स्क्रूटनी कंप्लीट करनी है, या फिर कोई और एजेंसीज हैं जो इस इन्वेस्टिगेशन में इन्वॉल्व है अभी?
जी देखिए, फिलहाल इस पूरे मामले की ईडी तफ्तीश कर रही है और ईडी के अधिकारियों से जो हमारी बात हुई उनका साफ तौर पर कहना है कि अभी फिलहाल जो भी बैंक अकाउंट्स की डिटेल ईडी के पास मौजूद है उनकी स्क्रूटनी की जा रही है। उन सभी बैंक अकाउंटों को खंगाला जा रहा है, पैसा कहां से आया, किस कंपनी से आया, या फिर किस कस्टमर के अकाउंट से आया, किस कस्टमर के अकाउंट में गया। तो जितनी भी संदिग्ध लेन देन है, जितनी भी सस्पिशियस लेन देन है, उन सभी की अभी फिलहाल ईडी तफ्तीश कर रही है और अधिकारियों का कहना है कि अगर आने वाले वक्त में जरूरत पड़ती है तो जाहिर सी बात है ना सिर्फ इस पूरे मामले में केस रजिस्टर किया जाएगा फेमा के तहत, बल्कि ईडी अधिकारियों को बुलाकर उनसे पूछताछ भी की जा सकती है।
ठीक है जितेंद्र, थैंक यू हमारे को अपडेट करने के लिए विद द लेटेस्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन. But just to reiterate for our viewers, the ED has only begun this investigation. We don't know the nature, we don't know the scope of what this investigation is about, if what exactly they are investigating as far as Paytm Payment Bank is concerned. But of course, this is a developing story, and we'll bring you the latest on that as and when we have the latest updates. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Plastic. Thank you for watching, and keep watching News9.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए